today is a super exciting video because it's something we've been wanting to do for a long time. And that is, we are starting our orchard. And by starting, I mean starting. So what we did was we cut down a bunch of trees in a forested area here, and we are going to set it up for the orchard. And today we have 2 peach trees to put in. So as you can see, this ground has not been broken. I have a tiller and a shovel, and I'm going to do this the hardest way possible, no doubt. I have 2 semi-dwarf peach trees, which means they need to be about 15 feet apart. So I have this metal post here marking one location, and then over here where this hoe is, it's going to be another. Unfortunately, it's by a tree stump. It's actually hard to avoid stumps in this general area because, as I said, we cut down the trees. So what I really wanted, and still want, is a nice uniform pattern throughout. Like, I don't want the trees just splattered all throughout. I'd like a nice line, 15 feet in all directions, just keep going that way. So I'm trying to do it and find starting locations so that I can keep going without hitting stumps. Now, I've been pulling and burning stumps for the last couple of years, but they're still everywhere. So anyway, this is the starting point. I'm going to get into it and show you the progress as I go. The plan is to have those peach trees in by the end of the day today. So wish me luck, because I know it's not going to be easy. So step 1 is complete. By far the hardest step, because the stupid tiller didn't work. Anyway, these are hand dug. So the first step was to dig a hole 2 to 3 times wider than the root ball, and just deep enough so that the root ball basically comes to the surface. So that's exactly what I did here. So as you can see, that hole is ready. Over here, I did the same thing. So that one's probably a little narrower than it could have been, but it's still at least 2 times the size of that root ball. So it's not too bad. So the next step is actually to soak the hole before you put any plants in it. So that's what I'm going to do. I brought a bucket of water. I'm going to soak both holes until they're wet. I actually brought a bucket of dirt too, because what you're supposed to do is dig up the hole, plant your tree, then backfill with the dirt. Well, a lot of the dirt I dug up is basically, lawn, like it's all stuck together. So I'm not going to backfill with that heavy clumped together soil. I'm going to use softer, ready to go soil so the roots have a better chance. So that's next. So I'm going to flush these holes with water. Once that drains, I'm going to put the trees in. I'm going to backfill with the dirt, and then after that I'm going to mulch the top. So I'll check in after the next stage and let you know how it's going. But I'm really hoping that this was the hardest part, because let me tell you, digging into this ground was a lot of fun. All right, off to the next one. All right, we got one done. The only part I forgot was before this, I soaked the roots for 30 seconds in a bucket of water. It's supposed to reactivate the roots. I mean, either way, water's always a good thing for new roots. So I did that, put it in the hole, backfilled along with dirt that I brought in from the garden, and then I mulched all around, making sure not to mulch heavily around the base. So that's it. This tree is done. Let's hope that it holds up well. And I still have this hole over here, which has not even drained yet. A lot of clay, so I'm probably going to backfill that with a bit of dirt and then go from there. But so this one should look just like the other one here in a few minutes when I'm done with it. So I'll update you on that, and at that point we'll be completely done. So I imagine this whole project took about an hour and a half, and most of that was hauling the dirt and the water back here. The actual process of digging and getting the tree into the soil, I mean, that can be done in a half an hour, but we're so far away from a good supply of dirt and water that I had to drag it here bucket by bucket. And I really don't know how people backfill with the dirt they dug out of the hole, because like I said, this is what came out of the hole. I'm not putting that back on top of the plant, so I had to bring up other dirt. So anyway, if you guys think that I should have just plopped that onto the tree, let me know in the comments, because I do want to make sure I do things right. But I figured bringing in loose dirt was not a bad thing. It allowed the roots to grow a little easier. They would have a hard time growing in that. and it's heavy, and it doesn't sit very well in a hole. So anyway, that's where we are for now. I'll show you the final update here in a minute. All right, this is the end result. So this is the first one that went in. There's the second one here. This one had a little bit of clay at the bottom, so we'll see how they do. They're planted in different types of soil. One's a little drier than the other, but I mean, they're both in the same general area, so they're both about the same amount of health, same height, same age, so be curious to see how they do. I did everything by the book, so here's hoping that it all comes together and they take hold. So all that's left to do is water them a couple hundred times a day and pray we don't get a hurricane, which we're definitely going to get. So anyway, I'll update you as we go, as we see some life or not, and go from there.